All right, we'll start this off. Welcome back in to the Bounty Hunters. We riot again. This is one of the shows that we're going to review, a TV show. It's one of our favorites. I say that as tongue-in-cheek as humanly possible. We're going to be doing Bad Batch Season 3, the first 3 episodes, right? We're doing all 3 right off the bat, right?
Yep,
hopefully,
all 3.
I watched them all 3. Very good.
Yep. That
so
sounds
there would
good to me.
Definitely be spoilers. I will let you know when we start spoiling because we'll probably do what we normally do, which is give a very vague overview, say what we liked about it, maybe give them a score, even though when you give a score, Ka-Chung's head explodes because he's like, I'm not ready, I didn't write it out. Just a quick one, doesn't have to, nobody's holding you to it forever. And we'll do that. So you guys ready to jump right into it?
I think so.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
If you can tell by the excitement on my face, the giddiness in my voice, I loved every second of this. So we'll start with, let's do the Canadian. What did you think about it? Try non-spoiler at first.
This is Bad Batch. This is the epitome of the Bad Batch. Every time you watch this. I will say for 3-episode opening, they did a fine job just setting up the season. Just like, okay, all right, where the characters are at, what are they trying to do, and what is the potential, like, what's the conflict going to happen this whole season? And through that, it's kind of, it hits some of the same story beats you've seen before. The characters are kind of, they're going, we can already tell what directions a lot of them are going and like what we can be expecting. But overall, that's fine. Like not like not great, not bad. Like that's the one thing I can say for this. They're not bad episodes.
All right. So really quick, 1, 2, 3, score out of 10. First one you give a
scoring it.
Yeah, that's right.
Each episode?
Yeah, this quick one. Like, see, he's already freaking out. I just said he's gonna freak out. Just quickly. No one's holding you to it. I'm not gonna edit a video later and put it in your face.
You're gonna be cropping that. You're gonna be cropping that number right there instantly. All right. If 5 is middle of the road, like it's just like base level. All right. I would say probably like, oh God. 5.5, 6 for first episode.
Okay.
You want? Okay, sorry, take that down. 5 for the first episode. Second episode would be 5 as well, and then the third episode would be 6.
All right, let's go for the one that always has. Look, the face is already crunched up.
7 or higher always.
The one that always tries to find the positivity and everything. He cannot be disappointed. The only Ka-Chung. What did you overall think about this first 3 episodes?
Well, my lowest score is still higher than his highest score, so clearly I liked it more. No, I mean I thought it was a decent start. There wasn't the whole batch. Like we still haven't seen 2 of them, and we're 3 episodes in.
And one
2
is
of them.
We didn't see them, right?
There's not 2 left.
There ain't 2 left.
Spoiler alert.
Wait.
There's not 2 left. There's only 1 left.
Right. No, we didn't see Echo, right? Yeah.
We will.
Math.
Yeah.
Spoilers for season 2. Tech dies in season 2.
Supposedly.
I
bet
he survives a drop that high out of the goddamn sky. I will accept Mace Windu coming back for all the availability. I will accept that.
Hey,
fall on the ground.
He's going to
that's my predictions list.
They're going to find his body. They're going to clone him and clone the clone and create another tech. No, I mean, so I thought it was a decent start. I did like that it was a little creepy. I like it when it takes a darker turn, and I think pretty much all 3 episodes. I guess the whole season's probably going to be a bit darker than the other 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I think you underestimate the power of the writers of the Bad Batch, but we'll give it to that, I guess. All right, really quick, you can do a range if it's going to make you have a fit. Just say 4 to 8 on all of them. You don't even have to give a solid number if it's gonna break your brain.
So I got a 7 for the first,
Mm.
6.8 for the second one, and a 7.6 for the third one.
That's great on an inflation, if I would have to say that. Yeah, okay. So yeah.
The third one was the better of the three.
For
obvious reasons.
Overall, I would say for Bad Batch, they weren't terrible. They weren't offensive. Omega was the least offensive she has ever been, in my opinion. I think it's because she barely talked. I didn't have to hear any weirdness from her, and so that was okay. I liked kind of what it was doing to a certain extent, but here's my problem. I think we'll get into it. So anyway, I think they were okay. I can see where they're going. I'm hoping for the best, because if I say anything, I'm going to spoil it. I said I wasn't going to spoil anything. So for me, if I'm grading for like Casablanca level is a 10 or some great movie ever, we got problems. We're in the negatives here. If I'm grading for what I expected from Bad Batch, I'd probably say like 6 on all of them, because they were fine. Like, I liked some of the things they showed us, but then some of it, as I'm going to say pretty soon, almost none of it was needed. Like, it was completely useless. And I will get into that, in my opinion, what it is. Like, to me, all 3 episodes, all we did was reset them back on to the path they were on before the end of last season. And you could have done none of that and been the same. Like, you could have wrote a 5-minute episode and got us to where we are after the 3rd episode, in my opinion. So it was kind of weird, but anyway, so after this point, it will be spoiler. Voodoo, if you've never watched any of Bad Batch, because if you watched all of them, you're worried about this season, I would say don't, because they at least seem to have a plan. But this will be the part where we do start spoiling it. I'll say my main problem now. My main problem, the reason why I will be hating on it, and I will legit say that it's not focused hate, it's just hate for the sake of hate, is because it seems like the whole point of this series now is to find a way for Omega to do something with the stupid ass plot that Darth Sidious is a clone. And the fact that's where the landing pad on is just going to bother me, because that is the stupidest thing they've done. Most everyone in the community now has agreed it's stupid. The actors have said it's stupid, and Rian Johnson caused problems when he tried to like do stuff. And they had to find a way to turn the ship around. So that's the only issue. The part of me that hurts that is that we'll talk about it, but there is a scene with our hero, the guy who tried to bring the whole galaxy together and nobody would listen to him. That is, of course, Darth Sidious. When I thought he was a badass, I thought he did a really good job. He was creepy as hell. I thought when he was there, it was really cool. So that's the only part that bothers me, because I want to hate it, but that was super cool. But so I'll say, since I'm already talking too much, the first episode was this. To me, I see what they were trying to do. It was cool. It was creepy. But also, I feel like the entire episode could have been 30 seconds, because it was just kind of like Groundhog Day. And I understand what they were trying to do with that too. But like I was telling the Canadian here, everybody in that whole episode had a monotone voice. Everybody was like, well, Omega, perhaps you should go back to your room. Like the chick that came and guided her had a monotone voice. The big bad had a monotone voice. The one that's I can't never remember her name.
Let's say, yeah.
Yes, she has a monotone voice. Omega basically had a monotone voice. The droids had a monotone voice. The only one that had any kind of fire was the damn caged animal, and that was the only one. Everybody else was just so monotone that kind of did go into the creepiness that I could see that what Kachung was saying. But at the same time, I was like, all I could think of in my head was, I feel like we could have cut. As somebody who edits videos, I could have edited out about 30% of this. Nobody would have even noticed it was edited out. We could have cut some of this, I think. So what did you think about the first episode, Kachung?
Well, I thought that the recap of the first 2 seasons was better than 25 episodes that have been shown.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
I'd score that an 8, just the recap.
You heard it here first of all.
As I was saying earlier, the first thing I wanted to write notes on was something negative, but I'll say it. When the ship crashed, the guys in the back were just standing there holding the rail, And the pilot said, "We're going down. We're going to crash." And they didn't do anything. They didn't like strap in or sit down. They just kept standing there, and they just came out, all rubbing their heads. Everything was fine.
I will
Anyway.
say this, from that crash to later on when there's an escape thing happening, it doesn't seem to matter if you have some kind of powered armor with glowy blue eyes or you're just some poor bastard. That uniform, the armor, serves no purpose whatsoever, because you can just take somebody and slightly push their head against a wall and it just shuts down the whole suit. It's like the whole suit just gets shut down. So I don't even understand why they have the armor.
Yeah, don't
honestly.
even bring that. The commando getting hit in the head, just knocked out instantly. Well,
there were sections that there was no music, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah,
like literally nothing. It added to that creepiness. And did you notice the vault had those laser
yeah.
doors? It reminded me of Gideon. His remember he walked through some passage and it had those same kind of like the mole scene.
Yep, Phantom Menace.
So I guess that's a thing.
Well, they want you to think that's a thing, at least, I guess. Bring back the super duper nerdy fans like us.
And was it in the first episode we saw how long she was probably in there for?
Yeah, so I went back. I was telling Craig, I went back and looked. When you first see her marking on the wall, she marks 21 days. When the time jumps and you see it again, it's 150 days.
What do we know?
Oh, seriously, I didn't even notice that.
We don't know if it's days.
Yeah,
it's 150 marks. Did you really count all 150 of those marks?
Well, it goes like it's like the classic tally: 1, 2, 3, 4,
oh, okay.
5. Right?
I was like, oh my god!
And there's 6 per row, and there it goes down the from there.
Wow, you like paused it and zoomed in.
He
well,
did.
No, it was funny. I was watching it, and when it jumped, I'm like, she has long hair, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's been some time, I guess. I was like, I said initially, is she only going to be there for like less than a month, like a holiday or something, and then come out? And then when her hair got longer, I saw her get off. I noticed the wall was all scratched up. I'm like, wait, is that the tally marks? And then I went back and paused it. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot more. So
I noticed because she grew a ponytail.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say, like, to say your creepiness level, I guess Disney doesn't want to do that, because there was like, other than just everyone being really quiet and stuff, everybody was pretty much just conforming to their situation. And I would like to have seen more why. Like, why do you have all these like clones who don't know why they're there? They're being walked down a hallway with like one guy guarding them and nobody's fighting back. Nobody's doing nothing. You don't hear screams going on. You don't hear anything. It's like, it would have been nice if there had been some evidence of like somebody mopping up blood out of one cell. I mean, they're not going to do that because it's Disney. Or explain to me why this is so crazy. Because right now it just seems like you guys are hanging out, getting 3 hots in a cot, and all you have to do is give your blood every so often. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Like
the Red Cross, the Imperial Red Cross.
All right.
So they're just going through the clones, checking to see if any of them have
what?
Something.
Right?
Yeah.
Have what?
It's funny though they do that. I mean, they constantly keep taking her DNA. And like obviously nothing comes back because she keeps destroying it. But when they be like, well, nothing's come back, so obviously would stop doing it, taking her DNA. But no, they do it for 150 days.
Does no one look at the data for 5-6 months?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, because
finding, what's Omega's readings like.
I mean, other than I assume that they had like a whole bunch of different projects going, so your blood could still be used for a different project. But once you have it, I don't know why you still need to keep taking it. That was kind of weird. It was setting up for suspense later. But here's the thing. If I'm the head of this base, right, and I see Omega, she's not normal, obviously. I mean, there is another female. I think that's kind of why they made that female come there.
I wanted to bring up something about that in a minute.
She's not normal. And you know that the person who is in charge of reading her DNA is somebody who would protect her like a mom at all costs. And you've never gone down there and supervised one DNA test. You never go down there and goes, hey, run the test. Let me see what you got. Like, not one time. She's been able to run the DNA test unsupervised every day for 160 something days or whatever it was.
150 days, yeah. I thought it was going to reveal that he knew all along. He had been watching. He already like stowed away like the information. Like he's been watching, keeping track to see how long she'd be doing it. But no. What I was going to bring up is the fact that so you have this other Emery, who is a clone as well. And it's like, okay, so Omega is not the only female clone of. Is she a clone of Django? Is she a clone of who? Like, I don't think she's a Django clone.
Yeah, I think she just
is a clone.
ended up female.
Yeah,
so
I just think she's a
what
clone.
I'm curious about is who the hell are all these other women walking around the base?
They look like her.
They look like her, but they're not her. They look like her, but they're not. They're not the same as her. How like the other clones are really the same clones? Who are these people?
I don't know.
Like, are they enlisted corps members like the TK troopers, or are they clones as well? What's going on with this?
Well, I mean, they must have degrees, right? They're from
that's true.
somewhere.
All right. So what did you think about the first episode that we didn't touch on already? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it was.
They introduced Batcher. I've been waiting for her to say "Bad Batcher." She hasn't yet.
That's the last episode.
Okay. So let's move on to the second one. We'll just stick right there, Canadian. What did you think of the second episode?
A little more going on. I wasn't unlike you, wasn't like annoyed by the other the young clones there. Like, what's the purpose of them? But I was fine seeing them and all that.
Okay, hold on. Let's just pause right there. If you don't, what's the point of them then? You explain it to me.
Does there need to be a point of them? Does there need to be a point of them?
Yes, there needs to be a point in it. I'm having to waste an hour and a half of my damn time. Please give me a reasoning to why they're even there.
Showing how the Empire is disposing of them even more so.
Yeah, they
just care about the children, not just the men, but the women and the children too. Okay,
the women and the children.
But I was gonna say,
I mean, I liked the episode. The episode was fine.
I did like the scene at the beginning with the Deveronians little syndicate, and seeing that seeing that guy come back. And
although that queen, the voice actor, I don't know who she is, but wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, you want to know the voice actor?
She wasn't the greatest. She had to be somebody's wife or mom because she wasn't the greatest.
No, she's a very famous actress.
She's not. She didn't do well. She didn't do well.
She's old. She's old, to be fair.
And she voiced the creepy character in Screech's Reach from Visions.
Did she?
Yep. I looked into it because I was like, I know that voice.
Yeah, I didn't think she was delivering it very well. But that might have been the kind of thing she was going for. But I wasn't impressed.
So it is, just so I can get the name here because I'm not going crazy. I didn't think we're pulling the name up.
Huston.
So here. Angelica Houston.
Oh yeah, she's 105, so it makes sense.
But here's something that caught me off guard. I was like wondering, was with the clone kid, the young boys. Obviously, immediately I was like, okay, that's Daniel Logan, the young Boba, voicing it. But I'm like, why do I hear a second voice? Why is it not the same voice? And they brought in a different actor. It's what's that kid's name? His name is Julian Dennison. He's a little Aussie kid a Kiwi kid.
Ooh.
In Deadpool.
Ooh, you're getting it mixed up right here with this guy sitting next to you over here.
I know. Well, I had to correct myself real quick there.
They sound nothing alike.
Well, I got news for you. They sound a lot more alike than you think you did.
Why do they keep not bringing in other voice actors for a fucking clone when it should just be the one actor voicing it?
Here's an issue that I do have with that, though. Honestly, like, okay,
if you call the clones are the same voice, you have D. Bradley Baker voicing all the clones, perfect, and then you have this group of clones who are mutated and dysfunctional. They were thrown out. They did Force 99, and they're still voiced by the same guy. But then you have the young clones who would be voiced by obviously the one who's voicing them there, and have a second voice there voicing another one. That makes no sense. That makes goddamn no sense at all.
It's never made sense, and I'll tell you why. our friend Kachung here is from one of those islands, the Kiwi one, the Koala one. He's from somewhere over there. Okay.
The West Island.
If he had a
The bigger.
child right now, that child would not have an Australian accent. So the problem that I've always had is why do they have accents? They've never really met their dad. Who is presenting them this with this accent? They don't need this accent that they all forcing them to have because they're not from that planet or whatever they're trying to say now. Why do they have the accent?
So they should all sound like Namaste.
Yeah, they should all be like,
Oh, God.
well, we like to fight.
100%. They gave the droids the accents. The droids to speak to them that way.
But yeah, I've always thought that. But yeah, it's fine. The voice give people. Okay, so what did you think about the actual episode? The killer vines and
again, Hunter not his abilities not ever existing or actually mattering is the most weirdest thing they could decide to do.
Yeah. Well, he sent something. So
well, yeah, but he
something,
turns
yes.
around. I sense it coming. Turns around, and then from behind he grabs the kid, and he's still standing with the knife in his hand until the kid yells. Then he goes, "Oh yeah, there's something behind us now."
Let's not forget that originally his super overpoweredness was I can feel pretty much a vibration on a planet by touching
your head to the ground.
And now when the 700-pound vine monster shows up, he's like, no, I think it's something different. Hold on. And the whole shit is vibrating. He's like, I think I feel something. I was like, I think I do too. And I'm on a different galaxy in a totally different universe. And I felt something. The whole damn camera's shaking. So yeah, that's kind of where they did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the least enjoyable of the three.
I also thought when they said at the end, like, what can we do now? I'm like, oh, you're gonna drop them off with Rex and the other clones, right? So like they're brothers. And they no, we're gonna drop you off at a resort.
A bunch of strangers on an island.
To Disneyland.
To be fair though, they've had a pretty crappy life on that island. They look pretty nasty, so now they get to live in the lap of luxury. Here's my problem with the episode. I'll just say it. There was no need for having those children. There was nothing there. If you exclude them from the episode, you can still get to the same point. You can still come up on the ruins, go in there and go, oh, this vine wants to attack me. You can fight the vine off. You can go get the information. You can explore the ruins. You could have done it without the kids. So I'm hoping that those three gentlemen will have some kind of future meaning behind the whole thing, or it just seems kind of weird that they included them in the first place. And I did say, the one thing that annoys me is what I always say is sometimes Star Wars is really bad about just having to have the right guy at the right place. And this is what I was telling you earlier when they're like, they decide to get on the ship. So, okay, so they land on this place. They get a piece of information. They go to the, we didn't do this in the first episode. I guess we should have. They go to this like crime syndicate, kind of not the crime syndicate, but a crime family. They get the information needed. They give them some coordinates. They get there. They find out that the base isn't there anymore. They left and they orbital bombarded it, right? They run in these three clones who escaped. They're talking. They go, oh, I know. There's still a panel in there. Maybe they told her where they went. So they went and got the panel. Then you find out that the Empire has created vine monsters that if you touch them, they will attack you and try to kill you. So they have to avoid the vine monsters. While the one is in there, the other two decide they're going to take the ship and just fly away. That's what they said. But clearly they were never going to. Like, that wasn't that surprising when they came Indiana Jones style at the last second. But while they were getting on the ship, the part that always annoys me is they do this. Wow, do you even know how to fly this thing? I was top of my class back in Camino, and I was telling him, why? Why does it always have to be the top of the class guy? Why can't it just be the guy that's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at flying? It always has to be like, I was top of the class of fishing. Don't you remember? I do. You were the best fisher of all of us. Oh, you just happened to be by the lake? Like, it's just, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's convenient that he was the top pilot in his class back in Camino. And they, of course, they're about to be eaten by the giant vine monster. And they swoop down and pick him up, and they fly off with the information needed. And like you were saying, what do we do now? Do we become farmers? Because that's what apparently you do. You become a farmer. And they said, we got one better. We're going to take you to an island where you're going to live the rest of your days sipping on margaritas or something. So
we're going to take you to Barbados, and you'll have.
What did you think, Kachung?
So they survived the bombarding of the whole facility, right? That's the story.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. They escaped right before the bombardment happened.
Right.
Oh, they used that
And
bombardment as a way to escape. I think they said.
those vines were just a failed experiment.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
All right.
They seem like they're doing a pretty good job to me, but that's neither here nor there. They seem to be doing what they were designed to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it does seem a little strange, but I mean, now the more we're thinking about it, the more it and talking about it, the more it does seem like a filler episode. But
We already have filler, baby. We already got filler.
it was the same episode. Like the syndicate thing was, and
God.
it was all this episode. There was none of that in the first one.
Yeah.
I will say there's a couple of things maybe I'll give them credit for. Is one, they showed that there was an air bombardment, so maybe that's setting up for something in the future. They're saying if shit goes sideways, they'll just blow it up. That could be something they're kind of, showing you that could happen. The other thing is maybe they're doing some kind of like next level thing where you think it's not escapable, but these 3 kids escape. So I know, you know what I mean? It's like maybe they're planting a seed in your head that these 3 kids escape. So if they can escape, so can Omega later. Because she's a superhero, so she should be able to escape.
Each season's ended with an escape and an explosion. So.
There you go.
Also, the other thing that they have plenty of failed cloning experiments. So I'm thinking that I know we shouldn't be talking about it, but Snoke might come out of it.
I think you said it wrong. You're supposed to say like Schnauk.
Schnoke. All right, so what do you think about this episode, Canadian?
Episode 2 or 3?
2.
I think I summed up all my stuff.
Okay.
Hey, you like filler, I guess, in the end, but it's there.
All right, so episode 3.
We got the coordinates, the general. What'd they say? Sector of space that the place is in. But they also just in the next episode they left the area. So who knows? If they even pass each other.
All right, and then this third and final episode, I believe he gave it like a perfect 10. I'm not really sure. Kachung, what did you think about the third and final episode?
The Shadows of Tantiss.
Oh, it had a name. I didn't even know that.
Whenever the Emperor enters, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I just love baddies. Always have. And the Emperor's a pretty cool one. His Crimson Guards were there.
They were badass, by the way. Yeah.
They looked great.
They looked great.
They referenced the Project Necromancer, which
sorry. Let's throw my mouth a little bit. I did that then too. I went, oh God. I knew it was coming though, obviously.
It's like acid reflux, apparently.
Yeah, it is. I had a heartburn all day. It's fine. Disregard.
But that was referenced in Mandalorian, wasn't it?
Yeah, they tried it. Yeah, they're doing everything they can to circle the wagons. That's a perfect place for him to freeze up right there. Look at that. That was perfect. He froze up with the shoot.
I'm going to get that picture after.
Seeing the stormtroopers was pretty neat. Kind of like the first issue, right?
Yeah.
TK troopers, yep.
Yeah.
The klaxon alarm went off. I always like to hear that.
No, if they had you a couple TIE fighters fly by, you would have been in heaven then, huh? You would have got all your sounds.
Well, there were some like prototype TIE fighters in that episode.
Really?
Oh, the A-Wings?
Is that what they were?
Yeah.
Those are not A-Wings. They're the
they're the ones that have the wings that go.
Interceptors.
Yeah.
They're they're Republic ships though, but they just made them gray.
Yeah, I have one right here somewhere. Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, I rewound it and listened to it again. When Thatcher jumps in on the scene, he says, "Hi."
Does he really? I hate my life if that's true. I hate my life.
Hi.
If he does.
Omega.
Okay, so
didn't say bad Thatcher.
Can I also want to bring up the fact that she was feeding him like 3 chicken nuggets a day.
Yeah.
There's no way he's just paying off of that.
I was going to say that too. Okay, so what we're going to talk about, there's a big giant bear dog, which I have a love affair with bear dogs. I have owning 2 myself. He's this big killer dog that she was befriending. You knew from the beginning. It was not going to be a surprise. It was going to fall in love with her because everybody falls in love with Omega. And like you said, when he says chicken nuggets, we're talking like McDonald's level. These weren't like the ones you get at like a nice steakhouse. These were McDonald's level mini chicken nuggets that she was feeding him, feeding this like 400-pound killer bear beast thing. And it was good. It fell in love with her. Here's the thing. It was really annoying. It was kind of corny. It saved the day. We knew it would. Here's the thing though. I kind of like them having that big dog there. Like, I think that's kind of funny and kind of cool. And I also want the Black Series toy. So I'm going to totally go against my,
wow.
totally going to just sell out right now and say, although it doesn't really kind of make sense, I'm going to, because the Black Series toy will be amazing. So yeah, I'm just going to say that.
Is she going to ride it?
God, I hope not, but I hope so at the same time. I will say this, as much as I hated Project Necromancer, the Emperor was freaking perfect. Like, this might be, of all Clone Wars, my favorite, like, Emperor scene. Like, he comes, not scene, obviously there's crazy ones, but I just mean like the way he was, his presence, his face not showing except his little beady eyes, him walking through there, everybody knowing who he was, like it was like a big moment, like it should be when the Emperor shows up. Like, it was a huge, big. You said sell out before I could finish typing it. Well done, put it. It was like a big moment, and I love the fact that he was in that. It was amazing. People like stumbling over themselves because it should be. I don't think people realize how terrifying it should be. He's just the Emperor. They don't realize who he is. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought them escaping her, and of course, I guess we didn't mention that the old Crosshatch. Yeah, he was there.
The best part about last season.
Yeah, so Crosshair escapes with her. And apparently the other thing that we found out from this is, I'll let you, because I didn't know it, and you're the one that found out about why this might be important, is that her no, the why Omega's important.
Oh, okay, yeah, you didn't
that her I'm not gonna say her name again. Her representation, her tall friend, apparently knew what Omega was from the beginning, because as soon as they found out, I can't stop your blood from being tested, because she had been stopping it and throwing it away. I can't stop it anymore. Run, is what she told her. Run, no matter what, get out. Like, they don't need to figure out what your blood is. Omega didn't know it, still doesn't know why it's important, but she told her to run, and that's what got this going. And the dog came to save the day. So if you love dogs, you'll love that, because they also fought some crazy looking beast. That beast was amazing too, by the way. I like that beast that they fought in the woods.
It was the Dryax.
and they were able to fly away. They were getting shot at the very last second. The nurse guy, she's a doctor, she came busting through the door and says, "Don't shoot her, don't blow him up. She's the one we've been looking for." They call everybody off, and he says, "We'll get her. We'll catch her again one day." And that's it. And so I thought the last episode was pretty good, actually. I thought that was a pretty good episode.
So what does the M stand for?
Metachlorians. So yeah, 100% my mind, at least, that it's.
I'm about to say that's what you're saying, and I agree, but I don't think anybody's confirmed that from Disney. I don't think you made a phone call and said.
Confirmed, but I gotta say it seems accurate. That's what it is. Anyways, my thought was that basically we have Boba Fett is Alpha, and he's the first clone of Jango, and he's that. Omega is the Omega, so the opposite of that. What else would be? Obviously, she's a woman, right? So like that's completely different in terms of like the cloning process. But what else would they do, right? It's my prediction being her being the first force sensitive clone, so she has a high metachlorian count, which is why they're trying to get one, because they need that for a clone for the Emperor, and they need to have metachlorians. So,
and that was going to be
we were led to think that it was Grogu they wanted all this time.
They want any of them, I bet. I bet they want them all. Probably, I would assume that's.
They want them all. Gotta catch them all.
And that was my main argument.
If they need Grogu, why are they? Obviously, they fail getting Omega.
Or they just want all the options they can. Might as well get as many as you can, probably. Yeah, because that was my main. My main argument was like, she's not special anymore. She's a female, so like there's other females now, obviously, so she's not special. Like, what was the point of any of this? And then that's when he was saying, "Oh, well, when they said that," because I misheard it. I guess I thought they just said it was a perfect clone, and he said no. They said it's the M, and I was okay. Well, now that actually makes sense.
Of her M count.
Yeah, that actually makes sense now to me, more so than I thought when I ended it. I was like, okay, that's weird. But all right, the last episode, what did you think, Canadian?
Yeah, again, Palpatine's great. Happy that Ian McDermott voices him here as well. I do like Dr. Hemlock. I do like Hemlock.
Yeah,
He
he's
seems
fine.
like an interesting. He's like Frankenstein. He seems to be playing up that right role, and yeah, the actual action here, them escaping, obviously, them just stealing that their guy's ship is pretty, you know. Also, one thing I want to address is Crosshair knows Tech is dead, right? Did
No
Omega
idea.
tell him?
I don't know.
Because when he brings like, oh, did they teach you this move? He's like, oh yeah, Tech made sure I knew every single technique. He's like, yeah, that seems like Tech, and he hand nods solemnly and like, and he sits quiet for a second. I'm like, oh, so did they tell him then? Because we never really got verbal confirmation.
Well, she was hanging out with them for a while, so I assume that in one of their little talks they were having, she brought it up. I would assume, if you didn't know.
But otherwise, yeah, good. I mean, if it was the best of the three, for sure. I just hope it does get better. It does get better from here, opposed to like I do not need any filler. I don't even want to okay, if I say anything that is not my predictions list, just kill the Trandoshan off screen. The Empire killed her. They killed what's her name, and we don't have to deal with her.
Here's my argument about these 3 episodes. What I was going to say is that they weren't necessary at the end of the day. All they were trying to find a way is to reset and get everybody back on the road again. And I feel like you could have done all of this with a random prison break to get, if you want to get Crosshatch back, random prison break, get him in the ship, have him fly off, and at the end of one episode, you go, did you confirm it? And they said yes, she is, and said the exact same line. And you could have done away with all of this. Like, I don't know if any of this is necessary. Because after this, why is finding out where they just had a assembly line of blood testing? Why is that important? Like, I don't know.
Did you guys think that they were going to escape this early into the season? Because I thought, if anything, maybe Crosshair was going to get out and she wasn't, and then Crosshair would be back with the team and having to reunite and have to go back for Omega eventually.
Isn't one of the episodes later called something similar to that?
Yeah, and it's going to be my prediction list here. You'll see what I think it's going to be now.
But I think it's just because they need to get them back on the road being what they are. And then later, towards the end, they'll have the worlds crashing back to each other again. And then whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Omega dies. Can we please be that lucky? Or whatever happens. But it's like I say with all these shows of Star Wars, everybody needs to die. Honestly. Because if everyone doesn't die, eventually you got bodies stacking up here. And why haven't we ran into them in any of the episodes after this? Why haven't we walked by and seen some of these really famous people who seem to keep escaping, whether it's Rebels or
they're at Disneyland, dude. They're relaxing on the
or you know what happened? If you've ever played Star Wars, with the video game. And the last one that came out, they had that special planet that they can shoot through there and the purple thing.
They'll just
yeah. Maybe that's what it is. They're just collecting all these famous people through all these TV shows, and you're going to find out they collect them on one ship and they go send them to that special planet. That's why you don't see them anymore.
Like a museum.
Yeah. We get all the heroes in one planet. You guys are on your own.
They're all zombies now. So,
you have been hinting about your predictions. Would you like to say your predictions now?
I would like to go over them briefly. So I'll say my first one is Commander Cody dies for sure. I said off screen initially because I'm like, they're gonna kill him off screen. They're gonna do him bad. They're gonna do him dirty. But I had the thought, which was that obviously the Omega and Cross already escaped. I'm going to predict that during that rescue episode, it's going to be him being rescued by Rex and Wolf and Gregor, and he's going to die in the rescue attempt, which is what's going to send off another prediction here, is Rex, Wolf, and Gregor will go in the exile at the end of the series, which leads into them where we see them in Rebels, where they just kind of went off into their own thing.
Right.
Omega being the first Force-sensitive clone, which if it gets fully revealed or not. I had this one written before I watched the third episode, but I think it's still possible in my mind. I wrote Crosshair and the clone commandos on Tantiss become the first line of Death Troopers, because we know that in like the Vader comic, when that one Jedi pulls off the helmets, that they were clones underneath and does the Order 66. I can
Crosshair.
see the commandos and Crosshair being Death Troopers. Maybe not Crosshair now, but the commandos that are there will be incorporated into that.
Maybe Cody.
Because he, what's his name? Dr. Hemlock mentions that he had a plan for Crosshair, a separate plan in mind, which is what I was thinking that was.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And lastly, that was like my fun one. Lastly, just a quick one here. Tech is definitely dead, is what I wrote after you had mentioned him falling out of the thing and surviving. And then I wrote my quick death and survival list. I say Hunter will die at the end of the series.
Better.
Wrecker will live.
Die.
Crosshair's a 50-50 shot. He lives or dies. Echo dies.
Die.
No,
and Omega lives.
Die.
I think Omega and Wrecker are the only two that are going to live.
The only thing I will accept from Omega is that they fade to black and she's up on some kind of board, almost like Jesus style, and they got 9,000 tubes coming out of her because they're just sucking that blood dry to make other emperors. If that's not it, then I got no need
am 100% certain if she survives, we're seeing her in that Rey new Jedi Order movie. 100%.
I'm still hoping that somebody puts a stop to all this nonsense. We need a table showing all his predictions or be on card. No, because he didn't inform us that we're doing predictions, so he just went rogue. He went wild.
I'll make a bingo card up for the
He went wild. He went rogue. He didn't tell anybody about the predictions. And you know that's something Kachunk likes to do.
I figured you guys would for the final season, right?
I will say this. My disappointment from the last episode, I've got to say this. They missed an opportunity to have one of Star Wars classic cringy moments when they're sitting there with the Emperor and he says, well, if I was the head of all science, I could do all this for you. And he says, oh, in due time or whatever. They could have had that moment where they were like, be careful you don't choke on your ambitions or something. They could have had some kind of corny little cringe thing when he said that. Instead, he was like, all in due time, and he walks off. And I was like, if Vader was there, he could have had some kind of corny one-liner for him.
Yep.
Already announcing he wants to be the head of all the sciences.
Oh, speaking of quick last mention would be, he said that Palpatine's like, this is the most utmost like importance. Like, you have all the power you want. And he's like, I have the whole power of the Empire behind me. Do you think he's gonna have Vader show up? Do you think he'll show up?
I mean, if you need to get something done, listen.
They have a really nice model at the end of the Clone Wars they haven't got to use yet.
If we're being honest, we like the Bad Batch, those guys are awesome. They're superpowered clones. But if you have them trapped somewhere and you send Vader in, he's coming out with 2 arms, a head, and Omega in one hand. Like, so, I mean, you could send him in, but they would have to be like at the end when everyone's dying or something, because he would.
Yeah, the finale. That's how he kills him. Always scene 2.0.
All right, so that's it for that part. Are we good with that? Are we gonna watch it? I would say, yeah, we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna review it for a while. I enjoyed it more than I thought. I was ready for absolute hate, and it wasn't. It was like we said before. It's pretty tone. It's okay. But as much as I dislike it, that's almost saying something nice about it. So.
Well, when we come back for the next episode, if it's in 2 weeks from now, that means we'll have 2 episodes to review. And that following week, there'll be 2 episodes releasing at once. So,
ooh.
All right. So thank you for joining us for the Bounty Hunters episode 3, 103 Bad Batch season 3 premiere. I'm reading it right now. And if you want more, you can sub up. So you can always watch the reviews and thumbs up if you liked it. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you can always watch this live on Twitch. And if you're on Twitch, you're about to get some Star Wars news. We're going to transition to that real quick, and let's go and do that now.